In this video, we're going to collect every single wolf in Minecraft and build them all a nice wolf sanctuary, each having their very own dog houses in the theme of the biome I found them in. Some of these wolves are relatively common, while others can be quite hard to find because they spawn in rare biomes, and probably the rarest of them all is the white wolf that spawns on its own. Yeah, we definitely have some challenges ahead of us, so let's jump straight in. So we're gonna head back to the spruce forest we found in episode 3 because I think it's a good place to start our search. Is that one of the new wolves? Oh no, it's actually just a grey one. Oh wow, we have finally found the orange wolf, which is actually the rarest of them all, and not at all a fox, obviously. Oh, so there's some mossy cobblestone here, meaning we're in an old growth biome, so we could possibly find the chestnut or the black wolf. Of course, no sign of any wolves, so I set off to find another spruce forest further off. I landed in another old growth biome, and once again all I found was this random sheep and a bunch of foxes, so I was starting to wonder if maybe I was still in 1.20. But as I traveled farther in the world, I found this snowy taiga and I started exploring. Oh my god, I think we have some here. So I believe this is the Ashen Wolf, which has a grey back and a white tummy, and they are of course really cute. Okay, so let's tame one of these guys. We're gonna name you Rick. As we're far from home, I was thinking of making a tunnel through the nether to make it easier to bring Rick back. Yeah, Rick, I'm gonna have to sit you down for this part because I really don't want you falling in the lava. While I was digging the tunnel, I realized it would be nice to get a friend for Rick, otherwise he'll be lonely in his new home, so let's welcome Morty to the family. I made my way through the nether to bring back Rick and Morty and made sure this creeper wouldn't hurt them. Yeah, we're just stopping for a quick visit of the zoo, and the wolves seem to like it, which is good. Now for building the wolf sanctuary, I think we'll choose this area down here because it's relatively flat and spacious, and also I thought it would be nice to be close to the rare mob zoo, almost as if it's a continuation of the project and it'll look nice in the world. I guess it's time for my favorite activity in the entire game, digging up the ground. I noticed my elytra was out of health, so I went to repair it at the Enderman farm along with all my tools. I also returned to the snowy taiga to collect a bunch of ferns and spruce leaves for decorating later on. We're just gonna grab some lava and some water to be able to build a cobblestone generator. Yeah, I always get it wrong the first time, so let's see if I'll manage. I guess it's a major fail. Let's try this again. Okay, this time we've got it. So we're gonna mine a bunch of cobblestone blocks to be able to trace the outline of the Ashen Wolf habitat. Now that the outline is done, it's time to fill it all in with grass blocks. And yes, placing hundreds of blocks is also something I absolutely love doing in all my videos. After I'd filled up the first layer, I decided to add a small hill on one side, on which I would be building the doghouse so that it would be a bit elevated and easier to see. Here we're just gonna add a few spruce trees to start getting the spruce forest feel and inspiration for the house. For the block palette, we'll be using some stone bricks, spruce wood, and white blocks such as snow, wool, and diorite. Yeah, I just remembered I had some cobblestone back at base. Oh, and don't mind the messy shulker boxes. I admit I'm not the best in that domain. For smelting the cobblestone, we're gonna use some lava from the lava farm. Oh dear, I accidentally crafted 21 stone cutters. Great job, Tootsie. Okay, now that this is sorted, let's get on with the building. We're gonna start off by building a stone brick base for the house. Now that we're done, let's add a floor using spruce planks, and then all around, let's add a row of upside down stairs and spruce logs in the corners to make it look nicer. So we're done with the base, and I added a staircase going up to the future entrance. Next, let's move on to the upper part, so we can make some pillars in each corner out of spruce logs. Quick tip guys, always remember to take a step back when building, because it's easier to see mistakes or things that don't look very nice, and actually very soon I'll be making something not very appealing, so I guess you'll see. I went back to base to collect some logs from my chest and my wood farm. Okay, so here is the mistake. I don't know why I did that, but I decided to make the walls out of spruce after making the floor and the pillars the same color, but I'll correct it later on, don't worry. So for the roof, we'll be using some dark oak for contrast. As you can see, the house looks okay, but these spruce walls are absolutely awful. We're just gonna make a little entrance right here, and we'll finish off the roof by adding spruce logs the entire way. Yeah, it's time to remove this hideous wall, guys. So instead, we'll be using some snow wool and diorite, and yes, very organized Tootsie has snow in the wood chest. So now all we have to do is remove all the walls and add white ones instead. A bit annoying to do, but worth it in the end because the white gave a much nicer contrast with the spruce pillars and the darker colors of the roof. Okay, now it looks much nicer. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's better. Next, let's go ahead and add some plant pots underneath the windows. So we'll be planting some ferns and some berries on top. So for this top part right here, I was thinking of adding a little curve sticking out of the roof, which will basically give a cute and more mystical look to the house. For the cobblestone base, we're gonna make these arches so that the wolves can walk in and take shelter from the rain when they feel like it, and we can add some grass blocks with ferns and berries on all the openings, apart from the entrance, of course. I then headed back to the end to repair my elytra and all my tools, and when I returned, I added some lanterns to light up the area a bit. A cool detail we can add is a smoky chimney on the roof, so we're gonna use some stone bricks, trapdoors, and campfires. And there we have it, the cute chimney is all done. Now let's quickly work on the inside, so first let's fill up the second floor with spruce planks, and we can also fill in the windows with glass panes. I just remembered I need to cover the ground with snow sheets, so we're gonna build a small wall all around to be able to let snow golems do their magic without escaping. Let's go get a few extra grass blocks because I want to make a small hill over here to get different levels in the habitat. And of course, let's add a bunch more snow golems. For the ground, we can plant a bunch of ferns and berries everywhere. Let's also add some bushes using spruce leaves. And finally, I'm just gonna add some grass here and there, but not too much to still leave plenty of spaces covered in snow. And we can also make these small lampposts with stone brick walls and lanterns. The next day I added a bunch more spruce trees to make the forest denser, and I also added some leaves on the roof to give this wild, overgrown vibe to the house. My elytra was once again running out of health super quickly, so I decided I would merge it with an Unbreaking 3 book, and then I also grew a mangrove tree because we're going to be using the wood for making a cozy dog bed. For the frame, we'll be using some barrels and trapdoors, and then we can use some mangrove slabs to make a comfy red pillow in the middle. We can also add some plant pots in the corner and a little table on the side with a lantern. And yes, I'm trying to get rid of my 20 stone cutters, so it's normal if you see random stone cutters in the dog houses. I quickly popped into the river to get some clay for making pots, and I finished adding plants, shelves, and lanterns inside. Now that we're done, let's go breed Rick and Morty. Yeah, I decided we're gonna sit Rick on his comfy bed, and I've got to say he looks quite adorable like that. We are finally done with the Ashen Wolf home, so next on our list is the Spotted Wolf that only spawns on Savannah Plateaus. I stocked up on food and fireworks, and finally it was time to set out on our next adventure. I headed over to the Savannah Plateau I'd found earlier on in the Let's Play, and I started my search. It seems there aren't any spotted wolves around, so I guess we have to look a bit further off. Oh my god, guys, we've got one over there. Oh wow, there's like tons of them. I guess they spawn in a large group to mimic real-life African wild dogs that live in large packs. You are looking at me in a super sweet way, so we're gonna tame you first. And we can tame you as well. And this guy, oh my, you are a needy young man, aren't you? I'm just gonna tame this fourth one as well, and we can leave the rest wild. I then made my way back home, and I was careful to stop several times along the way so that all the spotted wolves could teleport gradually. So we'll be naming these four after Abba. So we've got Agneta, Frida, Björn, and Benny. So the area I chose for the spotted wolf habitat is this hill right here, because I thought it looked quite cool, and also it'll be perfect for recreating the Savannah Plateau. First, we're gonna chop down all the trees. I'm just collecting some extra grass blocks to be able to fill in this sandy part because it looks a bit weird. Okay, the hill is prepared, so now it's time to go collect a bunch of acacia logs for the building. Oh my god, I have completely destroyed the biome. Okay guys, let's quickly get out of here before anyone notices. After repairing my elytra, I started flattening out the top of the hill for building the house. And then I thought it would be quite nice if the house was kind of perched over the river, so I started making a platform connecting the two sides of the hill. For the block palette, we'll be using acacia logs, stairs, fences, trapdoors, and moss blocks. And now, let's get on with the building. To be honest with you, I didn't want to use acacia for the house because I'm not really mad on how it looks, but I wanted the house to be in the theme of the spotted wolf habitat, so yeah, I guess we'll have a bright orange house. For the roof, I'm actually gonna use some moss, which will contrast a lot with the walls, and also I thought it would be nice to have vegetation all over it. And now, let's go ahead and add all the decorations and details. I planted a few acacia trees on the side to start recreating the savanna biome, and I went to get all the pups to bring them up to their new home. I'm gonna breed these guys to make a slightly larger pack. And now I guess we can just sit them in different spots around the place. For the dog bed, I'm going to use some acacia logs, trapdoors, and for the comfy pillow, we can use some acacia slabs to stay in the orange theme. I also added some furniture and placed plant pots, lanterns, and flowers. And of course, let's not forget to place the very important stone cutters. Now it's time to transform this empty hill into a proper acacia biome, so let's go ahead and plant millions of acacia trees. Yeah, this is more like it. Now, one small issue, the platform on which the house is built looks a bit ridiculous, so let's go ahead and transform it into a bridge. This definitely looks way better. And just to finish up, we're gonna fill up the gap on the side of the hill. I am delighted to say we are done with the spotted wolf habitat, and even though I'm not a fan of acacia wood, I feel like the house is cute enough and it definitely suits the spotted wolf well. Next on our list is the striped wolf that can only be found in the wooded Badlands biome. Thankfully, I had already found a mesa, so I guess we can start from there and have a look around for the wooded hills. Okay, we didn't find the striped wolf, but we have found this adorable armadillo. This is perfect because basically you can get some scoots from them and then you can craft some armor for the wolves, so yeah, we're definitely gonna do that. Oh, and look who we have up here. Yeah, this little guy looks so elegant on top of the mountain. So we're gonna tame these two wolves so that we can breed them, and now I guess we can start gathering loads of coarse dirt for the enclosure, as well as a bunch of dead bushes. I then gradually started bringing the wolves back by making regular stops along the way so that they could teleport to me. For making their habitat, we'll definitely be needing lots of terracottas, so I'm gonna start filling up my inventory. Okay, this is the fun part. We have to bring the pups through the nether, so I'm really gonna be careful not to make stops too close to lava because I really don't want them to get hurt. Okay, phew, we made it back to the sanctuary safely. For the names, I chose Simba and Nala. Now, for their new home, we'll basically be recreating the wooded Badlands on top of this small mountain by completely covering it with terracotta. So I'm going back to the mesa to stock up. We're gonna make a nice flat part at the top because we'll be planting some oak trees and building the house there. Now we basically have to cover up the mountain, a bit like putting colorful icing on a cake. I made sure to add some flat areas on the sides of the hill with coarse dirt where I would be planting some trees, and after repairing my shovel, I went to dig up some extra coarse dirt to cover the top of the mountain. I grew a few trees here and there, as well as large ferns and grass, before heading back down to continue icing my huge mountain cake. Finally, I placed some red sand at the bottom and the biome was ready to welcome the striped wolf house. I'm quickly going over to the mangrove because I want to collect some mud for making mud bricks for the roof. And the block palette will include terracotta, oak and spruce wood, and different types of bricks. Let's start off by making white terracotta walls with oak columns in the corners. Next, let's move on to the roof. I added a small tower in the center of the roof using the same materials as the rest of the house, and I also placed down some leaves on each side. To decorate, let's go get some flowers, and we can place some in these large pots. For the floor, we can use stone bricks, and now I guess we can bring all the wolves up to see their new house. I sat them all down in different parts of the biome, and then I went back to the house to build the dog bed using spruce trapdoors and mud bricks for the pillow. We can add a few more decorations on the inside, and of course, let's not forget to place down some stone cutters. Okay, we are done with the striped wolf, and honestly, I love this habitat because it's so colorful and it really stands out. Now we can move on to the black wolf that lives in old growth pine taigas. So if you remember, we were trying to find one in the beginning, but we were unsuccessful, so I guess we can go back where we left off and explore the world a bit further. Yeah, thankfully this pine taiga really stretches on, so we're bound to spot a black wolf at some point. Oh, and of course we've got another fox just to rub it in. Okay, I think there's one right here. You are really handsome, I've got to say. So I tried taming both of them, but I'd forgotten to restock on bones, so I ran out and I had to find some skeletons in a nearby cave. Once the two pups were tamed, I collected some mossy cobblestone. And finally, we made our way back to base. So we'll be naming these guys Frodo and Sam, and their baby will be called Gollum. Now I want to get some armor for all the wolves, so let's head back to the Badlands to collect some scoots from the armadillos. Yeah, I need to make tons of brushes because they break super quickly, like after only 3 to 4 strokes. Okay, I think we've got enough for the moment, so let's head back. To craft the wolf armor, you need to make a sort of dog shape in the crafting table, and you can place them on the wolf like this, and then to remove you need to use some shears. As these wolves are black, we're obviously going to dye the armor black, which looks really nice. And I made some grey armor for the Ashen Wolf, orange armor for the spotted one, and finally I chose brown for the striped wolves. Let's start working on the black wolf habitat. So we're gonna grow some 4x4 spruce trees, but we need to remove the ones that are very bushy because the black wolves live in old growth pine taigas where the trees are very tall and have fewer leaves. So yeah, I'm being devil tootsie again, sacrificing so many trees in this video. I want the roof of this house to stand out a bit, so I went AFK at my guardian farm and collected loads of shards for making prismarine blocks. We will also be needing some stone bricks for the first layer and normal bricks for the second floor. So let's go collect plenty of clay from the lush cave and we can smelt it all using lava from the lava farm. The block palette will have stone, 3 types of wood, bricks, and prismarine. Well, let's get on with it. For the balcony, we'll be using some lecterns, so I went up to the nether roof to stock up on leather from the Hoglin farm, and now let's get back to building. This house is from Massive Spec, and it actually took ages to build because it required so many different materials, and also it was pretty tall with loads of different levels, but honestly it looks awesome and it was really worth the effort. Now that the house is complete, we can continue working on the pine taiga forest all around. In between the tall trees we can grow some small ones to fill in the gaps nicely, and we can also add large rocks made out of mossy cobblestone, exactly like the ones you get in the normal biome. And there we have the black wolf habitat all done, and the house fits perfectly with the forest behind, and I'm sure Frodo, Sam and Gollum will enjoy it very much. Next, we're gonna go find the woods wolf that obviously spawns in forest biomes. Yeah, it's not very difficult to find a forest, so I don't think it'll be the hardest wolf to find. Oh, and no surprise, there's some right here. I tamed 2 of the wolves that I named James and Jeremy, and then we headed back home to start working on their habitat. So let's breed these guys, and we're gonna name the baby Richard. So first we can remove all the stone here and replace it with grass blocks. Similarly to the spotted wolf house, I'd like to make the roof of this one with moss because it'll fit really well with the cozy forest look I'm going for. For the cottage, we'll be using some oak logs, spruce stairs, stone bricks, white terracotta and moss. To start off, let's mark the corners with barrels and add oak columns on top. Next, let's fill in the floor with stone bricks. And now we can move on to the roof. Okay, so here is the shape of the house, and as you can see, I made it quite cute and compact. So now we can add in the white terracotta walls. And finally, we can decorate by adding bushes and stairs underneath the windows, campfires above the entrance, and also a cute detail could be to add loads of oak trapdoors to make shutters on each side of the windows. We can also add lanterns and hanging pots with ferns in them. For the inside of the cottage, I started off by making the dog bed, and I used some moss carpets in the middle. I also added some plant pots, lanterns and shelves with flowers on top. We can finish off by adding a little path in front, and here is what the finished cottage looks like. Just before moving on to the next wolf, we of course need to add the forest all around, so I planted a bunch of trees and bone mealed the ground to get plenty of grass and flowers everywhere. And there we go, the adorable little cottage in the woods is all done, and it is the perfect house for the woods wolf. Our next companion lives in a completely different biome, the Sparse Jungle. To find the rusty wolf, I knew I wouldn't find any in the Sparse Jungle near my house because I had already been there, so I flew across the ocean to find another jungle, and soon enough I found a Sparse Jungle I hadn't explored yet. I looked around but without any luck, and then when the night fell I suddenly spotted one. But then this zombie came out of nowhere, so I had to deal with him. I'm gonna name you guys Ron and Ginny. Bringing these 2 back is actually going to take a bit more time than usual because I need to cross the entire ocean and they can't teleport such a distance, so they'll have to take turns crossing by boat. Okay, we finally made it back, so let's breed you guys, and this little pup will be called Merida. First off, let's terraform the area a bit to get a flat space for the house. I'm also going to start removing the wall I had made for the snow golems so that we can merge the 2 biomes together. Now let's head over to the nearby Sparse Jungle to collect jungle logs and saplings. So here, I got the terrible idea of growing a 4x4 jungle tree and then building the house around it. I mean, it won't completely ruin the build, but I feel like it wasn't such a great idea, but oh well, it's no big deal. For this house, we'll be using some jungle oak and spruce wood, some white terracotta, and also some bricks. This is what we have for the moment, but yeah, I keep asking myself, why did I leave this tree in the middle? But yeah, I didn't think of it at the time, so we're moving on to the roof. I filled in all the walls with white terracotta and I added strip jungle beams on each side. For the upper part of the wall, we'll smelt the leftover clay we have to make some bricks. I then once again decorated the house with plant pots underneath the windows, using leaves, spruce stairs, and signs. On the sides, I placed some upside down stairs and trapdoors all around the windows to create this nice look. And finally, I filled in the gaps with glass. For the inside, I used some jungle planks to fill up the ceiling, and then I went out to grow some jungle trees and grass. I of course had to make a jungle style dog bed on one side, and I brought in Jenny so that she could sit comfortably on it. I also added some furniture and managed to get rid of 2 extra stone cutters, which was very good. So I'm just gonna place a few cocoa beans on the jungle trees, and yeah, I guess we are done with the Rusty Wolf's part of the sanctuary. As you can see, the tree in the house didn't completely ruin it, but I feel like it didn't add much either. As the Sparse Jungle biome is right next to the Snowy Taiga, we're gonna go ahead and merge the two together by terraforming a bit and then placing a few stone sheets and growing extra trees. Okay, so now it's time to find the Chestnut Wolf that lives in old growth spruce taigas, and basically it's the one with the tall trees being more bushy. So I was flying over the old growth pine taiga where we had found the black wolves, and then suddenly I was like, wait a minute, these trees look really bushy compared to the rest. Okay, perfect, there's a chestnut wolf right here. They actually look so good, a bit like Siamese cats in a way. So do you have a friend somewhere? Yeah, I cannot find a second chestnut wolf. I don't know if they spawn alone or something. So I guess we'll have to try and breed the chestnut wolf with another wolf, and hopefully we'll get a chestnut baby. Let's see if we can breed the chestnut wolf with Ron. Okay, well perfect, you can actually get a chestnut baby. So I've got incredible names for you guys. I chose Chocolate and Cocoa. Now let's go ahead and start making you a cozy new home. I started by planting 4x4 spruce trees, and I really got lucky because they all grew very bushy and I didn't have to chop any down, and I also added a few small ones. This part is a bit on the side, but basically I realized I had forgotten to put snow on the trees in the Snowy Taiga, so I just spent half an hour quickly adding snow sheets on all the trees. I then AFK'd at the cobblestone generator because we would be needing a few stone bricks for the next build. For the tones, we're actually going to use similar ones to the Black Wolf house with spruce, dark oak, stone bricks, and prismarine. I was starting to work on the house, and suddenly I thought it would be good to grow tall red mushrooms in the woods wolf biome, so off went distracted Tootsie yet again. Okay, let's focus on the chestnut house again. For the upper layer, I will allow myself to use strip spruce, even though it was a major fail on the Ashen Wolf house, because we don't have anything else in these tones, so it will contrast better on this house. Now for the Chestnut Wolf bed, we'll be using dark oak trapdoors, and for the pillows, we'll use some prismarine. And I honestly think it looks super good, so yeah, we can put Mr. Chocolate on it. I finished decorating the outside of the house, adding loads of plant pots underneath the windows with ferns and mushrooms. And finally, for the inside, I added furniture and little tables to be able to place pots and lanterns with large ferns in the corners. The Chestnut Wolf house is complete, so we can now continue filling up the old growth forest, making sure to remove any pine trees. Oh, and let's quickly add a stone cutter, and there we are. The chestnut home is finished and it stands out really beautifully. The next wolf is the rarest and most incredible wolf of all. I am obviously talking about the pale wolf. Yeah, this is actually just the original Minecraft wolf. I'm gonna make their habitat right in the center, which means I need to fill in most of this river to be able to build on top. I had forgotten to add mossy cobblestone rocks in the Chestnut Wolf biomes, so I quickly went to correct that. I am sure that the Pale Wolf will be extremely difficult to find, no doubt. Oh wow, incredible! There's already 2 at my base, already tamed. This is astonishing. Okay, so here we have more space for the Pale Wolf habitat. As you can see, I kept the river because I thought it looked nice, but I made it much more narrow. We can start off by planting some spruce trees to start creating the spruce forest, and we can also add plenty of grass on the ground. We're also going to pick some berries from the snowy taiga to place in the spruce forest. I think a bit of red will look quite nice. For this next build, we will be needing lots and lots of stone bricks because I'm planning on making a really tall tower that will stand out from the rest. To start off, we can make a large stone brick circle with 4 spruce columns in the corners, and gradually we build up. For the top part, we'll use some diorite, which will contrast with the stone. And as for the roof, I thought the colors that would fit best would be a mix of bricks, terracotta, and mud bricks. So I used the leftovers from the other builds. I decided to strip the spruce logs at the bottom to get a lighter contrast, and I added some stone brick walls to connect all the sides. For the inside, we can remove this grass floor and replace it with spruce planks. And for the entrance, we can add this nice large door, and then for the dog bed we can make a typical one and use diorite for the pillows. Yeah, I admit I forgot what I had named the wolves, so we're gonna rename them Anna and Elsa, and their baby will be called Sven. I furnished the inside a bit, and I also added some windows with flower pots underneath for extra details. We are done with the Pale Wolf, and honestly I think this tower is one of my favorite builds from the sanctuary because it really pops out and it looks really cool as well. And now it's truly time for the rarest wolf of them all, the Snowy Wolf. I was truly quite worried that this one would take me ages because apparently they only spawn in groups of 1 and grove biomes can be quite hard to find. On the other hand, with all my flying around the world to find the wolves, I had already spotted a really nice mountain with a small grove on the side, so I decided to head back there. We quickly need to get some leather to make boots because I don't want to be sinking in the powder snow. Oh, is that one? Yeah, no. That's another fox. I mean, this could be a baby long-eared snowy wolf, but yeah, for some reason I really doubt it. Oh my god, there's one right here. I'm kind of astonished because I thought they would be extremely difficult to find, but honestly, I'd say the Chestnut Wolf was the hardest to spot. Well, let's bring Cookie over to the sanctuary. Yes, I chose the name Cookie for a fully white wolf, I know. I guess it could be a white chocolate cookie. Now we need to get Cookie a friend, so I'll breed her with this striped wolf to be able to get a snowy baby that we're gonna name Cream. So I already have a plan for this biome. I want to build a huge snowy mountain. But the thing is, I already used up the areas with naturally generated hills for the wooded badlands and the savanna plateau biomes, so we basically have to build an entire mountain from scratch. Okay, well, off we go. I'm sure we'll be done in no time. To buy a mending book for my shovel, I went over to my raid farm to collect emeralds, and I discovered you can now get ominous bottles from pillagers instead of automatically having the ominous effect, which is really handy. As soon as I had mending on my shovel and repaired it, I went back to work. Yeah, this took me ages to do, but we are finally done with the snowy mountain. I left this flat area so that we can plant trees to recreate the grove, and of course we'll be building the snowy wolf home on top as well. So I couldn't figure out what type of house we could build, so we're gonna make another tower. As I had lots of leftover snow from making the mountain, I decided I would use some for the walls with a mix of stone bricks and spruce wood as well. Yeah, we kind of have an issue. I didn't leave much room for the dog beds, so I think we're just gonna incorporate some barrels in the walls, and we can add 2 trapdoors and some slabs, and yeah, this is your awesome bed, Cookie. Oh, and very important, I was able to place the last 3 stone cutters, and I mean, getting rid of the stone cutters was actually the main challenge in this video. Here is the wolf sanctuary, all done, so I'm quickly going to add a wall all around it to make a sort of outline, and yeah, this is what it looks like. By the way, let me know in the comments which wolf home was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I guess I will see you in the next video. Love you!